the other question was, it was kind of you covered it a little bit earlier on, so I'm trying to find which one it was. When you were talking about the shaman's death that people go through, one of the people in the group wanted to know, in terms of being a healer and helping people clear certain entities, attachments, dark energies, is it important that we have had personal experience of those dark energies in order to be able to effectively clear them from others?
Is there anybody that hasn't experienced any dark energies?
It might be more about the specifics. So, for example, just as an example, would someone be able to clear astral bugs and parasites from a client if they've never experienced astral bugs or parasites coming through themselves, for example?
Well, probably if you're a good seer, you might see it in others and don't have it. And if you have, good allies that help you, you can ask them to remove it, Depends probably on your pedigree. I mean, I would say I probably have been plagued, besides rape, anything that might happen to my client, And so, I mean, I can relate to that, I mean, I got plugged, I got any type of attack on past life trauma you can imagine, any type of enemy, I've had, and so that's part of my personal soul in education, so, but I mean, you run into them, but first of all, you got to see them and recognize them. That they're there, unless you can't clear them. So diagnosis, is a really important part of being a healer, figuring out what's actually going on. I mean, for me, it's just a part of the repertoire, it's something to be checked on, It's like if you want to make your house burglary proof, well, you go through all the windows and doors, and where else they can get in, so similar, yeah, implants, attachment, portals, cords, there should be part of your repertoire that you check off your checklist, otherwise, it's just really like dream dancing, There's a benefit, but it's not really, thorough. Let's put it like that.
Right.
Does that answer that? Yeah.
Yeah, I also like that, because I think they were asking more about, like, do you have to experience it in this life? But where you were saying like experiencing it in past lives, I guess if the soul has experienced it already, then you have that vibrational frequency in there. So on some level, if you're a good psychic, you're a good seer, you're going to recognize that in someone else. It's not that you necessarily have to go through that in this life because you're already carrying it in your soul.
Yeah, many times, let's say you have a like gifted psychic, no training as a yogi or anything like that, Many times, yeah, there is like a past life aspect, a priestess or whatever, or like a whole team, working through this psychic, and they don't even know it, But then when you, guide them and, oh yeah, look, it's stepping into you, and it's working through you, and yeah, you can have other beings stepping into you too, Make sure you don't burn out, But yeah, so, there are so-called naturals, but they have a hard time teaching others, because they don't know the step by step, I had to work for everything, so, um, so I can, I kind of know the in-between steps more, I guess. Shaman's death, you had to work for everything.
In-between steps, and go and see Wolfgang, because that's where I learned all my in-between steps from. All the ones that don't come through channeled. Yeah, the right questions to ask and the right bits. Yeah, those of you that are healers, come and have a session with Wolfgang, you'll learn loads. Very much. Yeah, no, that does completely answer the question.